Hey everybody, happy Sunday and welcome back to the farm. As always, I'm John, and it's been a good week here on the farm. It's been pretty slow. I'm walking down some steps here. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, well, I'm sure it'd be good content to watch me roll down this hill. I'll try not to do that. But anyway, it's been a good week here on the farm. Juliet's babies are doing amazing. We'll take a quick peek at those. Lemon is still yet to farrow. She gave us a couple days where we thought it was going to happen, and she's still holding out. So we'll just keep waiting for those babies to arrive, and it'll happen when she's ready. But for this week's video, we thought we'd do a couple simple things that we have around the farm that we think are indispensable and that you all may find useful, especially if you're new to Kunekunes or are looking to get into pigs in general. So we'll go over a couple of those things and wrap this one up for the week. But anyway, if you haven't, like and subscribe. It helps with that YouTube algorithm, and we really appreciate everybody that's been watching, and I really enjoy the conversations and questions that I get. Thank you very much to everyone. We greatly appreciate it. If you have some ideas or recommendations of things you'd like to see us do in the video, or something we do that it's like, hey Murph, you guys could probably do that a little better, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to learn as we go. Like I said, we're all new to this, but we're having a great time. So we hope you all are enjoying our videos, and that's enough of me flapping my gums. All right, so one of the items we find extremely useful here on the farm is the slap shot. Now, these are commercially available. You can Google search slap shot and find these. When we first started with Coonies, really the only vaccination we give, unless we have a pig, get sick and we have to give some kind of antibiotic, are deworming medications, ivermectin, Dectomax, things like that. So doing that initially was a challenge. As the pigs got larger, it became a heck of a lot more difficult to put a needle into. So we come across this item and absolutely love it. Now, it's just a piece of surgical tubing. You have a bit on this end that you can put your syringe on, and then you have the other end here, if I can zoom in a little bit, where you put your needle. Now, keep in mind, this will hold about 3 ml of whatever product you're using. So you'll have to have a syringe, big enough to pull that through and get this full of whatever you're trying to put into your pigs. So, but it's a lifesaver. And if you watch my last video, I'll try to put a little clip in here somewhere of me giving Juliet a shot with this. It just makes life so much easier, especially when the pig starts to move. It gives you just enough leeway to keep up with them that you can get the medication injected, and it's a lot safer. The last thing you want to do is break a needle off in a pig or something like that. And trust me, it can happen, and it can happen really fast. Even with the small ones that we normally hold, Amanda will hold one of the pigs, and we'll give it a shot, and then we'll do it that way, just straight from the syringe. But you really have to hold on. So as they get bigger, obviously you're not going to pick a 150, 200-pound pig up and hold on to it and give it a shot. So anyway, look these up. It's very simple. They're not real expensive. Of course, everything's expensive these days, but take a look, and it just makes your life a little bit easier. So the next tool, and one that I find myself using all the time, is just a simple set of bolt cutters. So I got these from probably Harbor Freight or something like that. They probably cost next to nothing, but I use these all the time around here, especially when I'm working with hog panel, which we'll talk about here in a few. But once again, another tool, just easy to keep around. If you're going to do electric fence, get an electric fence tester. These you can find at most of your stores. You can get them through Amazon. I could probably drop a link to a couple that you can take a look at. But these are very easy to use. They're not easy to read if the sun's shining, so you really got to get down there and cover those indicators up, but it'll show you the voltage reading on your fence and it's just a better way to do it than, I don't know, sticking your tongue to it. So easy enough to have. If you're going to do electric fence, make sure you get one of these. It'll make your life easier. And there's all different kinds. This one in particular is probably something from Tractor Supply. And I have a few of these around the farm. Now the next thing we just brought to the farm this year, and I don't know how we ever lived without it, especially as we train our pigs to electric fence, and we get that that psychological barrier, and it gets difficult to move pigs. We found getting these hog panels. Sorry, this one's a little dirty, but these have been indispensable. They're pretty lightweight, very rugged, but what it does is it allows you to put a movable barrier up when you're moving your pigs. And contrary to popular belief, pigs will back up. So bugs are out again today. Pigs will back up, so having something like this, if they can't see, they're not going to run through it. At least that's been our experience. And it just helps us get pigs from point A to point B, if they're not as anxious to follow the food bowl as they typically would be. Normally we just put a little corn in a bucket or some feed in a bucket and shake it, and they're more than happy to follow you around. But having one of these, especially when you have to get them to cross where that electric fence has been or something along those lines, you're not going to reach down and grab a large Kune and pull it through that area or push it through. They are a lot stronger than they look, and they'll definitely take you for a ride. So these are about 4 foot long and maybe 30 inches high. They're not real heavy. Clara can handle them. Amanda, did y'all hear that? Has no issues, using these, and they've been a big help when it comes to moving these pigs. I have a couple that are very difficult to get from one spot to the next, and this just makes it a lot easier after you chase a pig around the farm a little bit. While it's good to get your blood pressure up and get that cardio fixed for the day, it's not recommended because it can get very frustrating. So another thing we've just brought to the farm this year, and we're really excited to start using, is one of these electric fence reels. Now, once again, this is not anything that's high-end or really expensive, but I think it's going to be a game changer when we start rotating pasture. And I want to start using it when I extend the sow paddock down here at the bottom of the farm that we've talked about in previous videos. It's basically got a gate handle on it. It's got about 600 yards of poly rope, and it's just a simple little tool that allows you to spool this line off. You can lock it off and you can hang this on a fence, and it's just an easy way to not have to constantly cut the fence. When I'm ready to move it, I just roll it back up, unhook the gate handle, and go from there. So I'm not going to go in detail about this right now. I'm sure we'll talk about it in another video coming down the road, how to load one of these up, how to use one. But I'm excited about this, and I hope to have a few of these around the farm as we start getting our rotational paddock set up, and we start rotationally grazing our pigs, and horses and everything else we got going on here on the farm. So anyway, great little tool. Check them out. All right, so the next piece of equipment that we find very useful are these Premier One heat lamps. We've used the ones from the box stores, the old silver dome with, they're kind of open, or they have a 4-wire kind of cover on them. We've used those. You can get by with those. But we found that these Premier One heat lamps are just a better product. The lamp is well protected, and you will find that a sow can get up there and hit at these. This is plastic. It doesn't get hot, so they're not going to burn themselves. These, I don't remember the cost, but I'll try to put a link in the description to the Premier One website where you can find these. You can probably even get them on Amazon. But just a good piece of equipment, and just a regular heat lamp bulb. We use the red ones, and the pigs seem to do very well with these, and we're pretty happy with them. It has a pretty long cord, so you can I'll show you our setup, but you can get them back from the pig house, and we run extension cord along the fence and hook them up that way. But yeah, Premier One, great piece of gear. Highly recommended. Just give you an idea of how long that cord is. That's got to be 15 feet or better over to that pig house. And that's where Juliet has her babies. All right, and the last couple things I'll talk about are hog panels themselves. You just can't go wrong with these hog panels. Yes, they're relatively expensive. I don't know what one costs these days. I probably paid 26 bucks a piece for these. I didn't buy all these at one time, obviously. I mean, I have a pretty good supply of them here. But to get a quick fence up that you don't want to leave permanently, these are the way to go. They're 16 feet long and probably all of 36 inches high. They have the tighter knit spacing down at the bottom. Even the little piglets that Juliet has right now can't get through those openings. But this is a quick way. You know, you can use T-post. I've seen people use rebar, all kinds of things you can quickly throw up to set up a quick pen. And the other thing that we like, and I'll have to remember who makes these. This might be a Premier One product as well. Sorry about the camera angle there. Is these little spiral connectors for the hog panel. This just makes it so easy to connect two ends of these together and make one continuous piece. I think these are sold in sets of 10 or 12. Once again, I'll try to drop a link in the description and where you can go to look for those. But we absolutely love those connectors. We used to stitch this together with wire. Some people use hog rings and things like that. This is just real quick. Corkscrew that puppy on and you got these two ends connected. And so far they've held up really well. And we can't complain. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is right over here. And that's our shade cloths. Now, after farrowing our sows this April, we realized that, you know, none of the trees had leaves on them at that point. And they were fully exposed to all day sun. So we, you know, got out there and got on Amazon and found these inexpensive shade cloths, and they have paid for themselves. The pigs love them. They utilize them all the time. So you can see where they were starting to make wallows up underneath them, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, these are probably, I think they're 8 or 10 feet by 14 or 16 feet. And they really weren't that expensive, and they've held up very well. And I'm hopeful we'll take these down soon and put them away for the winter. And I'm hoping that we'll get at least 2 seasons out of them. And if not, like I said, I think they were 12 or 15 bucks a piece. They may have been a little bit more expensive with that. I'll have to ask my financial advisor, Amanda. Did y'all hear that? When she gets back. So anyway, a great piece of gear. Now, if you have ample shade, it's not really that big of a deal. Like this pen down here doesn't have a shade cloth on it, but it has that huge walnut tree. And by the time we had pigs in there ready to do their business, the leaves have started to come in and they started to get plenty of shade. But the sun comes across this angle every day. So that's our southern facing direction that way. So having these shade cloths has been a good thing. Now, one thing we might do next year is maybe try putting them in a different part of the paddock and see how that works out. Anyway, just a quick video this week talking about just a handful of the things that we find absolutely critical. Critical is maybe a strong word. That have just made our lives easier as we've gotten this far in our journey with pigs. Now, obviously, there's other things we can talk about. The solar charger. There's so many of those out there that I won't necessarily recommend one, but the one that we have, and I've had it on previous videos, has worked better than we could have hoped for the years that we've had it. And it's got plenty of juice. It keeps the pigs back, and they definitely respect it. I would like to have one a little more powerful, just from bugs in my eyes. Sorry, everybody. As we start to wrap electric all around the entire perimeter of the farm, I think it would be beneficial to have one that's not solar, that directly plugs in, that can really pump out some juice to keep the weed pressure down. or at least help deal with that weed pressure. And we can tie into it and as we move around the perimeter of the farm and carve out paddocks that way, using those spools of electric polywire that I was showing earlier. And, even short run or the short pieces of T-post for our corner brackets and just fiberglass or regular step-in posts for, the in-between pieces. So anyway, if you got any questions about any of the stuff we talked about, please let us know. Once again, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, as I mentioned earlier. We're having a lot of fun making these videos, and Clara's doing great with her editing. So anyway, we hope everybody is having a great day. Fall is definitely upon us, and have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.